What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. It's time for another War in Order guide, and today we're gonna be discussing the Infinity Wars. We're gonna be going through everything from the basic info for all the new players to all the strategies and tips to make sure you guys score the highest points possible. So let's kick in the intro and begin. Okay, so the Infinity Wars gets unlocked after you reach castle level 50. It's pretty much the more advanced version of the Castle Wars. And compared to the Castle Wars, this time you're gonna be going against other players from your own state. And when I say against them, I just mean that your score is gonna be compared to all the others. Depending on the weekly score is your ranking, and that ranking will also give you extra rewards every week. Same as in the Castle Wars, we have the buffs coming from the development of your castle. So depending on what you focused on, each type of development is gonna give buffs to a specific type of tower. More details on each tower I discuss in the Army Assault guide, so we don't waste time here. I've seen different strategies and different ways people focus on towers, and even though when you're all maxed out there is a specific best build ever, until you get there you're gonna have different development in your castle, and that's gonna define what towers you should be focusing on. One thing's for a fact is that the crossbows or the spell towers are your main damage dealers and should be your main towers in the map. Now whether you choose the spell towers, the crossbow, or combining them, it depends on the development of your castle. I personally prefer focusing only on spell towers, and I will show you that in the full run at the end of the video. But I've also seen people focusing only on crossbow, and for good fact, because their buildings were way more developed than their beast and therefore getting more damage out using crossbows. So depending on your castle development, check out the buffs and see what works better for you. Now in Infinity Wars you're gonna be having different stages. And at the end of each of those stages, you're gonna get a choice from 3 different buffs. And those buffs are crucial in how much points you're gonna be scoring and how far you're gonna go in Infinity Wars. The type of buffs and the value of the buffs is random. So that is one thing that is always gonna be a luck game every time you do Infinity Wars. If you are unlucky on what you're getting, you are simply unlucky and there's nothing to do about it. But what you can do is prepare the buffs that you will be starting with, and we do that from the shop, where with gems you can buy buffs to start the Infinity Wars with. These are my preferred buffs, so let's discuss why I always choose these ones. For the orange buff, I always choose the 30% increased damage for the towers, because that's one of the main things you want always in Infinity Wars. Increase the damage, because the more damage we deal, the faster the monsters die and the least monsters arrive at the end of the destination. Now for purple, I don't choose the damage, I choose the increased resources. If I would have that available at orange, I would probably use that also there, but it's not, that's why I went for the damage. Now, when it comes to the increased resources, this is something that you want to be having from the very beginning, because the faster you get the increased resources, the more levels you're gonna be having that buff, and therefore you get way more value for the buff itself. And the further you go through the levels, the less value it gets, because it doesn't matter how many resources you can get from killing monsters if you're not killing them. And that's where the extra damage from the towers gets more value than the resources. But at the beginning, it's one of the most valuable things to get. For the blue buff, I choose the extra reward, because you start off with 3 rewards, and having this buff there means from the very start I'm gonna be having 4 rewards every single time I finish a level, and therefore increase the chances of getting a better buff. And for the last one, the green one, I choose again the increased resources. Not gonna explain again why, but these are my preferred buffs and I use this every single time I do Infinity Wars. Now when it comes to Infinity Wars, the most important thing is the one big score you're gonna be getting, preferably at the beginning of the week, because once you get that really high score and you invested the gems to get it, you can use the auto mode to get not the same score but slightly less, but still worth it, so you don't have to waste the gems every single day trying to get the buffs and trying to get the same score every time. So the strategies, the moment the week starts, you put everything into trying to get the highest score, and afterwards you just use the auto feature to just get pretty much similar score for free without having to spend more gems. Okay, so we prepared the buffs, we know what strategy we're gonna be doing. Let's start Infinity Wars. Now the map is always gonna be the same map. The one thing that differs is where the monsters come from, and the most preferred version of the map is starting from this specific gate, because it's the longest one and it's one that is gonna give you more freedom in choosing the next ones that will come. If you start Infinity Wars and you're not beginning from that gate, you can always restart Infinity Wars and it will reset it again with a random chosen start gate. So you can keep restarting till you get that specific gate and then start playing. Now when it comes to strategies of the towers, what I use, and I said at the beginning, I focus only on spell towers. Again, you can play around with crossbows also included, but what is important is the positioning of your frost towers. And this is how I position my frost towers. Like this, you pretty much cover the majority of the area, and that place where you see more frost towers, it's because the distance is much shorter and it's less available damage to kill the monsters there. So pretty much anything you can stack up there helps. But besides the frost towers, there's not much strategy to it, because you cannot decide what gate comes next and how you're gonna be developing. But this is pretty much the only thing that I use as a strategy and I use as a repeated thing every single time I do Infinity Wars. Okay, so the buffs that I chose to start Infinity Wars with will always be the same, but the one extra buff that I definitely want from the very first level is the increase of value from rewards. And that is not something that you're gonna get every time, but if you really want to go full efficient mode, I would advise you to keep resetting after level 1 if you didn't get that reward available. Once you get it, select it and continue with the rewards. You can restart Infinity Wars until stage 3. After stage 3, you're not allowed to restart it, but you can quit Infinity Wars and then press again start, continue, and you're gonna restart that specific level from where you just quit. This is something you want to do when you are in the middle of a level and you messed something up that you think you can do much better. If you start that specific level again, you can quit and then start again, press continue, and it will put you back in that last level from where you just exit. And we're getting to the end of the tips. The last thing I would say is when it comes to rewards, I would advise you to, again, first few levels, if you get your hands on high increase of resources, take it, as it has a lot of value at the beginning of the stages. But the further you go into the stages, the more you want to be prioritizing the tower damage increase than the resources. And the one thing that I didn't discuss at all are the active items. From level 6 you're gonna start getting dragons, and depending on how well developed you are and how much damage increase you have from your towers or how many towers you have, it will come the question, can you kill the dragon while also killing the rest of the monsters? And if the answer is no, then that extra damage skill will definitely help you out to get through that level and maybe get a better buff for the next ones. So even though we are prioritizing resource increase at the beginning, then focusing mostly on tower damage, after level 6 and up, you kind of want to start stacking up those damage skills as when you get to level 8, 9, 10, 11, it's gonna start going crazy, and one of those skills can maybe save you to go to the next level and get those extra points. And with this, we pretty much wrap it up, guys. This is the guide for the Infinity Wars. I'm gonna leave you with the full run, of course speed it up so I don't waste your time. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, as it does help with the channel, and subscribe to the channel to get notified of all the new videos coming out. But that's it from me. Thanks again for checking in, and I'll see you guys in the next videos.
Before the storm, things aren't as they were before. You best start rising. Did you think you could keep us out? Shut the gates, forget us now. Tides are changing. Can you hear this sound? Don't know what we're doing. Things are about to change, it's evolution. About to shake the ground, you feel it moving with the revolution. Taking the world, you'll see they'll be calling.